Well, welcome to Manchester, where we've just had a pretty explosive press conference here, chaired by Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren, who's putting on this magnificent heavy impact card, we're calling it, on April 5th. Really is a tremendous time to be a domestic heavyweight.
Oh, it is. I mean, Britain is take out Usyk, and we're the centre of world heavyweight boxing. All our guys have come through. When I started out in the sport, I look back then, some really good fighters. You know, you go back to Henry Cooper, Joe Bugners, all those, you know, big names, legendary names at the time, but none of them won a world title. And it was all Americans. Look at it now. It's all Brits. It's all Brits. And whoever Usyk fights is going to invariably be a Brit. 95% of them are Brits, all the top heavyweights of the world. And we're blessed with them. And we've got a great card together here, which is going to deliver some spectacular fights.
Yeah, I mean, I'm calling the top of the bill Dillian Whyte against Joyce, but Lawrence Okolie, Richard Riakporhe and David Adelaide, Jamie TKV, any one of those guys you would think the jump between domestic level and world title level is not far. And the reason I link to that is because it's just days away now until we all depart for Saudi Arabia. Daniel Dubois, he walks with a new confidence, he talks with a new confidence. I just wonder, that win against Anthony Joshua, the difference that has made to, it was one great night, but the kick on from that now, he seems like he's found a whole new confidence. Would you agree with that?
I do. And the Hergovich fight and the Babe Miller fight, he's progressing on. And he was an underdog. In his last 4 fights, including Usyk, he was the underdog. And he's upset the odds in 3 of those fights. And as you say, 27 years of age, he's matured, not just physically, but mentally. He's showing what he's all about. And he's in a fight, first time for the last, in 5 fights, he goes in as a favourite against a former world champion in Joe Parker, who is on a roll, a big roll at the moment. So this fight again is going to be something extra special.
Yeah, it's the 2 form heavyweights outside of Usyk, you would think. May I ask you though, I've seen the build-up show, and you know it is always going to follow Daniel Dubois around that. Joseph Parker and his team, Andy Lee, they picked up on that point again. You know, you have quit in you. I even feel bad using that word because it's almost a curse word in boxing. Daniel Dubois, I wonder if people are making this mistake. They pick up on that point from years ago and they stay with it. Is that a concern?
Miller did, Hergovich did, and AJ did. They all said the same thing. And he stopped them all. All of them. Stopped them all, done it in style. And come from behind in a couple of those fights. You know, against Hergovich, you look at those first 3 rounds. I mean, it was a tough 3 rounds to get through, but then he gritted his teeth and showed what he was about. And it's the same with AJ. I mean, going into that fight with AJ was on a roll. He had some good wins. Crowd was behind him. From the very first bell, he was the governor.
Interesting that you mentioned Anthony Joshua. You and Eddie Hearn are good pals now, but he sort of said, you know, AJ can jump straight back in with the winner of Dubois against Parker. I wonder if you have a feeling on that.
Well, Derek won an eliminator for the IBF title, Derek Chisora, last Saturday, so he'll have something to say about that. Look, it's there. That, you know, first of all, he's got to get through a tough fight on the 22nd in Riyadh against Parker. That is no walk in the park. That's going to be a tough fight. If he comes through that, he's got a lot of options. But what he wants, the big fight that he wants, is the rematch with Usyk. Very controversial fight. Those 4 minutes in that fight, you know, when he hurt him, I thought it was a legal blow, but I'm not going to go into all that stuff. But he hurt him, and he'd give him a problem. He'd probably give him his toughest fight he's had. And, you know, for me, I think he can beat him. I think the form he's in now, I think he can beat Usyk.
That would make him undisputed, obviously.
That would make him undisputed, and that's what it's about. That's what this heavyweight thing's all about. I mean, we're putting on some great heavyweight fights. You know, you had some fabulous fights last year, some of the best heavyweight fights of the 21st century. And look what we got here. I mean, this is something extra special. These are good fights. Delicious Ori making his debut on the same show. You know, that's brilliant. We've got Fabio up there. We're going to be announcing his fight soon. We've got so many good heavyweights under our umbrella, and it's just a renaissance for heavyweight boxing.
One man that's probably brought the heavyweights back. Now, he was sat next to you in this very arena on a Saturday night, so you must have been prepared for this. You had a conversation with Tyson Fury, who looked tremendous shape, by the way. Yeah. He looked really well. What was the conversation? What did he have to say? And at any point, did you talk about the future and boxing?
I asked him, I said, what's it like wearing the old slippers around the house and that? And he's happy, he's in a good place. And I didn't talk about boxing. I'm not doing that. I'm happy if he's happy. He's been it's not just me boxing business. He's a friend and I want him to be happy. Look what he's done in the game. Gone to the other guys' backyards, won world titles, spectacular fights, great fights that he's had with the trilogy of fights that he had with Wilder. Brilliant fight, going to get into Klitschko's adopted backyard, doing a job there. Some fabulous, fabulous fights. Great fights with Usyk. Fag paper in between it as far as a lot of people are concerned. Really good play, really good quality fights. The two best heavyweights of the 21st century. He's done everything you can ask of him. And more importantly, come back from a terrible place when he sort of fell off a cliff, didn't he? With the boozing, the drugs, the problems that he had, suicidal thoughts. To just get over that. That was life defining for him. And the boxing thing gave him that drive, that focus to get his life back on track. And he's done that, and he should enjoy the spoils of his labour in the toughest of all sports. If he comes back, he'll come back. But for me, I just want to see him be happy. He deserves it.
Yep, great message. Thank you very much for joining us. So massive card for you April 5th, but of course for us, we'll be seeing Frank out in Saudi Arabia February 22nd for Triple D. Daniel Dubois takes on Joyce Parker, but that's just one of X amount of fights. Well, we've got like 7 top of the bill quality fights, so take your pick.